The first Thanksgiving, the Pilgrims came over on the Mayflower, and they died that first winter. Half of them, half of 102 people who made it over to the New World looking for religious freedom, died in the harsh winter because of disease and sickness and starvation. And in a moment of religious spirituality, one of them stood up and said, "Let us give thanks to God for what He has done." It takes a great amount of sanctification to think in those particular means. But for us here, as we come upon Thanksgiving, Thanksgiving is a national holiday for Americans. It's where you think about turkey and whether or not you're going to be a good host or hostess, and whether the turkey is dry or moist, or whether you have enough cranberry sauce. But the first Thanksgiving was about God's providence and His provision and His preservation. In thinking about what God has done for you this Thanksgiving, take a moment and meditate. Meditate upon what God has done over this year, what He has brought you through, what He's bringing you through right now, that you should be thankful for. I know some friends that got cancer, and in thinking about it, they thought about it in terms of, God has given me this to be a steward over. How will I be a good steward over this providence that God has brought me into? As bad as cancer is. Yet we can't forget, like Leviticus tells us, God is the one who places the leprosy in the house. God is the one who gives the cancer. And He gives the cancer to responsible people who will utilize it in a way to glorify Him. Now, not all of us are going to have cancer, or not all of us are going to have difficult providences in that way. Not all of us are persecuted and living in China. Not all of us are starving in some third world country. So we should stop and think about what it means to truly be thankful from a spiritual perspective this year. Think about what it means to be a Christian. Think about what it means that God has saved you and changed you and made you one of His children in His kingdom. And whatever providences that you're going through, that you are sure you're giving Him proper due respect and thanks for all of His providences, no matter how difficult they might be. Visit a Puritan's mind. There are a number of articles there that you can read about Thanksgiving, including all of the documents from the first official Thanksgiving. And there's historical information about the Pilgrims coming over and having their first Thanksgiving. Don't believe what Hollywood tells you. Don't believe what the media tells you. Study those documents yourselves and see that God's providential hand is something that we should have an eye to this Thanksgiving, as they did upon their first Thanksgiving so many hundreds of years ago. May the Lord bless you during this Thanksgiving time as you read and study His Word and become more like Jesus Christ.